So, whether you just picked up the game with your buddies or you've been playing for a while, welcome to my tips and tricks guide to killing scouts in GTFO. Sorry for the long delay. Now that my tonsils are no longer the size of walnuts, I can get this video out finally. Also, with how much traction the channel has been getting, I'd like to keep uploading GTFO, so if there's anything you want me to research more and make a video on, let me know. Anyways, I'm making this video because a lot of players get stuck on scouts, and there is a lot of very useful information to ease the pain of dealing with them. So why don't we talk about how they work first. Scouts are currently the only enemy in the game that moves even while it's asleep. You'll instantly know if there's a scout in a room if you hear footsteps or nasty liquidy sounds. Those nasty liquidy sounds are its feelers. The feelers are the spaghetti noodles that float in a circular pattern around the scout every so often. If you touch these feelers at all in the slightest, the feeler will turn red and retract to the scout, bringing hordes of enemies your way. But you already knew that, right? Okay, so I exaggerated that a little. The scout doesn't immediately go off when you touch a feeler. You actually have 3 to 4 seconds, depending how far out the feelers are, in order to run in and kill the scout. This is extremely useful information if you're dealing with a room with more than one scout. When you eventually go in for melee, there's a few things you want to keep fresh in your mind. First, aim high, especially when it's ducking down. If you hit the neck, it won't count. If you hit the head or the back of the head and neck area, it will. This is called the occiput. The only way you can kill a scout is by hitting it in the head. The feelers have a guessable cycle. Apart from dispensing every 10 to 20 seconds, here's a few things that will actually make the scout feel prematurely. 1. If a flashlight is on it. Just like a normal sleeper, it will feel around if you shine a flashlight on it. Just keep in mind that it has to be a pretty powerful flashlight or a bit close. 2. Falling off objects or jumping will only trigger it if close by. And 3, however, if you are walking, it will only feel when you are about 5 meters away from the scout. If you are sprinting, it gets extended to about 10 meters, but this is still my preferred method if I'm farther away. So I mentioned how if you have your flashlight out, the scout has a good chance of feeling, so if you can, try to turn it off when you're going for the kill. When you do though, don't be afraid to sprint. Waking up a room but killing the scout is much better than setting off the scout, because not only will the room be woken up, but there'll be waves behind you. This is what typically ruins a run. My last piece of advice for meleeing a scout is to surprise it. What I mean by this is, if you can get behind a wall or some objects that it commonly walks up to or past, you can jump it right as it turns the corner. This will almost minimize your chances of getting touched completely and will only leave the factors of missing your hit or waking something else up left. Now let's talk about the big guns. If you want to get rid of a scout but don't care about what's in the room, these are your options as far as weaponry go. Before I give you the list, keep in mind that some of these will only work if the target is hit in the occiput. Occiput? Is that how you pronounce it?
Occiput.
Oh, okay, occiput. The occiput is the area connecting the back of the head and the upper neck. This way it counts as back damage and head damage. Anyways, all these guns are capable of killing the scout. The sniper, the Hell rifle, the Hell gun, the revolver, the sniper sentry, the shotgun, and your melee weapon. Now there is one I left out on the list because it doesn't matter where it hits the scout. This is the only weapon in the game that can kill the scout with anywhere on the body. And it is the mine deployer. Or just mines in general. Anyway, mines. Mines do astronomical damage, and it's so high that it kills scouts with just one. So if you can get it to walk past one, you're home free. Minus the room that you just woke up. Let's talk about C-foam. C-foam is the quickest way to deal with the scout. If you have a grenade, just one will do the trick. Just aim for the scout itself and throw. Don't aim at the ground. If you have a trip mine, you can use that. Try to place it facing up if you do have a trip mine, so that the scout will just walk right through it. Now, be warned, sometimes it takes a second or two to fully freeze, and in that time period, it can still be set off. If you have a launcher, I don't know the exact amount, but using a full one will definitely do the trick. You can probably get away with 65 to 70% on the circle, not like how much C-foam. C-foaming a scout is good for getting the hang of where to swing, but also dealing with scouts in large rooms with crowded spaces. One of the last ways you can kill scouts is by cheesing the game. Some players may not prefer this, and it usually isn't ideal for late game runs because it doesn't work all the time. If you open a security door and shoot a gun, the sound of the gun doesn't affect anything inside until the doors have fully opened. This allows for some pretty cheesy gameplay. This still does work in Rundown 5, even if the background gameplay is Rundown 3. If you ever used a Hell gun, you may have wondered if you could get a double scout kill using the over-penetration capabilities of the Hell firearms. And though this is true, it's not very reliable, as one would imagine. If using the held rifle, you could do it if they line up perfectly, yeah, but if you're using the held gun, they would have to both be facing away while in a line. It's not very practical. Anyways, that about wrapped things up. This again wasn't an advanced guide, but it was still a better way to get your foot in the door. A lot of this information was taken from personal experiences, but as well as the GTFO wiki. The wiki is a great place to learn stuff fast about the game, and I do recommend reading through a few pages if you're stuck on something. Sources I used are linked down below. Anyways, thanks for watching everyone. I immensely appreciate the recent growth, and I'll try my best to keep things rolling. Huge thanks and cheers. If you open a security door and door a gun, am I on crack? Shoot a gun.